multiple streams. I did an early look at 1, I think, and then I think Bobby snuck on at 4 and did a half early, half late look. And I wasn't sure who was coming on to go live, so I figured I would just uh, come in here and talk about late developments for the NBA slate, also um, and also talk about what I ended up doing with the NFL. And I'll talk about the process that I use because it is a little bit unique. Um, I made great use of the portfolio manager today. If I had known I was coming live, I would have asked um, James to come on with me and make sure I did it right. But um, I've been running pretty hot in Showdown in general, so I figured I would. Why not change some things? I don't know. I remember when Tiger Woods won the U.S. Open by 15 strokes. He threw his entire swing away. So continuing to learn, continuing to try to get better, not just relying on results as indications of how things are going. Okay. So the big news that just came out was that Michael Porter Jr. is out for the Nets. So we're going to have to wait and see how projections update as far as that goes. I did just run a kind of like a mock SaberSim build before I updated my projections to see what I would be getting as a result of that. I guess I'll share that with you. It's not the end of the world, though. It's still going to be the Yusuf Nurkic show. I mean, I'm getting like a full 65, 70% of him. Then Tyrese Martin, if he wasn't a good enough play already, now I am getting even more of him, which makes sense. And then I guess the big net that I'm getting as a result of this recent change is Cam Thomas. Currently, I'm getting not as much as I thought I'd be getting. I'm getting 28% Cam Thomas, but I figured I would get more because I really think he's going to take over a lot of those shots that MPJ is wont to attempt. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I mean, still Nurkic, and then the same guys I talked about earlier, Tyrese Martin for the Nets. Still have that pacer value in that game. Quentin Jackson still looks good. Derek White still looks good for the Celtics. Taylor Hendricks for Utah. Jaylen Brown for the Celtics as well. And then right back to Karl Anthony Towns also. So not much has changed right now as a result of the Nets news. Although I am going to redo my projections to see if anything changes. And then what I'm going to do is, just for funsies, I'm going to go over my approach to the NFL slate. And as you see me struggling, I still have to shout out, who is it? Like Rubio Dimes. I mean, I know he's at Run Pure, but boy, I'll tell you, man, it is so hard. And I know this. It is so hard to do content and win. It's very, very difficult. You can do it. Listen, you can do it in the NFL, okay, because it's not a lot of stress leading up to lock and things like that. But whenever I win in the NBA, I'm particularly proud of myself because it's so hard. It's so hard to provide good content and update projections and all that stuff, and then still be able to win. So all the people that have done it, like all these years between Adam Scher and Osimo and all these dudes, I mean, especially the NBA, I mean, like, just shout out to you. So I am going to run my updated projections here first, and then I'll come back to the NFL. And as you can see, as you can't do everything well, both content and playing, we can expect my play to be really good because so far this content is atrocious. But I still do have to update these projections, so we are going to run this. Oops. See, I already made a mistake. What I was going to do those that do projections, you'll know what I'm getting at here. I just started to run showdown projections for the NBA when it's the NFL that has the showdown. So this is the things that happen when you try to do everything. And one of these days, that you want a real behind-the-scenes look at everything that goes on my computer when I'm trying to manage all this. It's not easy. I'll just say. Anyway, so again, I am going to update the projections in the NBA, and I'm going to run it again. But for now, Nurkic, Tyrese Martin, Quentin Jackson, Derek White, Rollins, Taylor Hendricks, Jaylen Brown, Cat, Cam Thomas, Russell Westbrook, and as usual, the NBA, not a lot of uniqueness. I mean, we really don't want to get too off the beaten path in the NBA. It will come back to get you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about my approach to NFL this week, and I'm going to shout out to James McCool from Paydirt, who has this portfolio manager tool within his site, which is free at this point, I think, which does a really, really nice job of managing dupes. And also, if you put a portfolio of lineups in to the portfolio manager, you could do some kind of cool, some cool things with it, for lack of a better term. And we've done several videos on the different things that you can do, but there's that. I also have to shout out, listen, to being independent, I have to shout out to another company that only because I use them, and my mantra is transparency, and I sometimes use AceMind specifically for showdown sims, because of the way they allow you to really put your own fields together and put your own projections, and it accounts for standard deviation, things like that. Anyway, I like the kids that started it, and so every once in a while I'll run stuff on there. And so what I decided to do for this particular slate is I ran 3 different sets of builds, using 2 using SaberSim and 1 using AceMind, and then I'll tell you what I did after it. So the first thing I did is I uploaded. I always use my regular projections. Ooh, by the way, the projections were finished for NBA. So first I have to upload those to the site. And once I upload this to the site, then I'll come back and I'll report what I have to you guys, and then we'll build. But I want to talk about the NFL for a minute. Okay. Hold on. I'm going to my Google Drive, and up we go. And here, boom. Once I get this uploaded, then I can pretend to talk like a human being. Okay, at least the NBA projections are up. And now, once they're up, now I know that we can have many more people get ruled out. Okay, so what I did was, first I ran 100 lineups using SaberSim, using their contest fields. So, I mean, just to show you, I guess, sort of what that looks like, I will share my screen here. And I don't mind showing this because there's nobody that can duplicate this. I couldn't even duplicate it myself right now if I wanted to. So what I did was I put my projections in, okay? And then I ran it with 2 different sets of fields. Like the first one, and this is just for the lottery. For the lottery, I ran 100 lineups, or I ran 1 full build using, if you go into contests, you could select what field that you use. And I used the flagship MME, which is SaberSim's default field. So I did 1 complete build with them, and then I sorted it by ROI. I didn't use the portfolio diversifier for this. I just sorted the results by ROI, and I took the top, and I just made this number up, the top 100, okay? And then what I did was I used the same projections, and I went back and I did another one where I ran it with my own field. And again, just to remember how to do that, it's really, really easy. You just there are a lot of ways. You can do it, but one way is if you have your own projections, you could put, or your own ownership projections, you could put that in, and this is where I keep it somewhere. Where did I keep it? Here. And then there's a little thing that says automatically create custom fields from ownership. So what you could do is you could save those, and then you could save them as whatever you want, test, and then save it, and then it'll create this own field. So what I did was, and you'll see field lineups over here. And so then what I did was I went into contests, and then I found my my field, and I ran a completely new build with that as my representative contest field. And then what I did was I sorted that by ROI, and then I took 100 of those lineups. So we have 100 sorted by ROI using the SaberSim contest fields, 100 sorted by ROI using the my own contest fields. And then when I went over to AceMind and I ran one using their stuff. And what they do is a little bit different. So again, you're uploading your own, and it really is for, well, I don't want to sell for them. They can say for themselves what it's designed for, but it's pretty useful for someone who has their own stuff. So we import everything, and then we import the player data, and then there are different ways you could customize even how much it runs. But what's cool about it is that it's going to run like these sims, and it's going to run 5 different fields. Okay, so it's going to create 5 different fields based on your info. And then what it's going to do is going to put it all together. And then what I did was I took the top, I think 100 from that, or top 150 or something like that. So I ended up with 300 or something. What was it, 200, 250 or something like that? 250 kind of candidate lineups that I wanted to use. So then what I did after that is I went into the Paydirt Portfolio Manager. And this is, again, like, I use a lot of different tools, to make things work. And then I'll just show you again, like, really quickly. I'm getting pretty good at this. So what you do is you have to upload a template where you have where you show it what the slate ID and the player ID. So there's a template that you have to abide by. I'm not going to get into all that, and you put your own projections up in here. And then what I did was I took this whole all these files together. Like, for example, I mean, it's not going to be all these, but let's put I think at one point it was called Paydirt Candidates, maybe. No, because that was the wrong one. It was this one. Let's say it was this one, for example. And then we take that whole thing. So we manage the portfolio, and then what I did was, you see how it says like there's projected dupes here. Then you can do this the long way or the short way. I like to do it the long way. So I would find all these and just actually manually take out these lineups that I thought were too highly duped. But again, like, if it's 13 duped, but it's projected as like one of my top lineups, I don't mind. It's just that if it's projected like my 100th lineup and it's like 20, those are the ones that I knock out. And then after you do all that, then you could you could use the stratify function, where there's this thing called diversity, where you could take this and put a whole bunch of lineups in, and then it will diversify them for you in a very smart way. It's very similar. Well, not similar. I shouldn't again speak for him, but this is what is the new this is the new battleground right now. Is this whole portfolio diversification thing, and SaberSim is doing that, and And Shady is doing that for staff, for Run the Sims. He has a portfolio diversification tool, and it's the thing I've been calling for 4 years, really. I mean, me being my real job, and that's what this is all about. You don't just pick good stocks. You don't just pick good strings of stock. You pick them in a way that they work well together, given your portfolio exposures and things like that. Same thing with players and lineups and things like that. So anyway, this is Jim's take on that, and then all these different ways of sorting through these. You could stratify. You can even sort them by diversity. And so what I did was I put all these things together, and then I just fired them. And the key was I literally have no idea who I have. So that's the good news. All-Star, are you using Pater for every sport or just the dupe heavy ones like Showdown and MMA? I have not learned yet how to use it as great value added for the other sports yet. Just because it is still a little clumsy, like knowing how to click around. But I'm getting there and I'm getting better. And Showdown and MMA, I use it as much as I can. And yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead, I guess, and let's build these NBA lineups now and see, just for fun, you want me to show the projections, or I'll show the projections real quick and see what I did here. I want to make sure that these are at least. Oh, is this going to be one where I don't have? I really hope this is not going to be one where I don't have Cam Thomas, because this one's going to cost me because he's actually really in play. Let me just make sure I have Cam. I do have Cam Thomas. So Cam Thomas is listed as Cam Thomas on DraftKings, but Cameron Thomas on FanDuel. So you might end up whatever. Oh, 100%, Yang. I mean, 100%. I mean, it's the dupes are going down, and I have been doing. Listen, how you're doing again depends how you look at it. I happen to have had like a lot, an overwhelming number of really big ships, in the last year or so. And so who knows whether that's just variance or whatever, but feels right, And when I look through the projected dupes versus the actual dupes, I mean that's what I want to see. Okay, results or whatever, but if you can get lineups that have a chance that are under 10 dupes, I mean you're really doing very, very well. All right, so really quickly, let me just look at the projections, then we'll go in here. What am I expecting to see? Points per dollar, yep, same dudes. I mean, these are. Hey, look at Johnny Furphy showing up. Look at that, Johnny Furphy kicking in here. Terrence Mann showing up. Who is Johnny Furphy? Don't know. I have a feeling we're going to find out though. And then we'll take a look at. That's right. And then we'll look at FanDuel and see what we're getting there. Anything different because of this net stuff? Oh, we have all this Lakers. Okay, I keep forgetting. So with Luka out, all this crap comes in play. Dalton Connect, Laravia, probably get 5 Lakers in every lineup, and we'll just kind of live with it. And people are going to ask, what's the maximum amount you'll have Lakers or whatever? That's not for me to decide. That's really for Saberson to decide, or whichever I use to build my lineups. So let's go ahead and do it. Let's just do this live. And the beautiful thing is I'm not going to look at who I have. I know who I'm going to have. I mean, basketball is easy. Basketball is easy to predict who you're going to have. I mean, you're going to have the best projected players, and you're just going to hope that you have enough ownership fade to get you there. So we're just going to do the same thing as always. We're going to go in here, and what I'm going to do is I am going to create my custom fields of ownership, and we're going to call this, because we'll be lucky, we'll call this the Jang 2, this earlier. So Jang 2, and then we'll build 20,000 lineups with this for DraftKings. And so what I think I'm going to do today is I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to go into the contests, and for the swish, I'm going to keep the field lineups here as usual. But then for the fadeaway, see, I was using Zhang Test before. I'm We're going to go Jang too. So we're going to rely on my ownerships for the fadeaway, but that's it. Jabari Smith is out. I presume that I factored that in already. We'll have to see. Otherwise, we're going to have to go do some more finagling. Jabari Smith is out. Uh-oh. All right. So we're going to have to do some late swapping at least as we get to 7 o'clock, but I don't have time for that right now. 4-point play, we'll keep it 20 max. Everything else will keep the same. And then we'll just kind of fire this. Let me see what the Houstons look like. I hope that I didn't have him projected in. Let's see. Let's see if I had Jabari projected. I did, in fact, have him projected, so that's going to have to be fixed. So you know what you can do? What you could do is, at least for Houston, before we build, we could change the projections. So we'll just use SaberSim's projections for... I hate the NBA so much. I really, really do. I just hate it. I hate the late news. I hate that they can't say there are freaking lineups are at any reasonable period of time. That's really, really annoying. And this is going to be stupid because all these ownerships are going to be different. So we're going to have to change it. And this is why the NBA is really for people that have more time than me. Okay. Change the projections here. And now because of that, I mean, I could leave the ownership the same, but I really shouldn't. I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, I'm probably just going to have to redo everything. But just to show what we would have, if we didn't have to redo everything, may as well rebuild here. And we'll build from here. Yeah, I know Jabari Smith is out. Thank you. Tari Eason is going to be an even better player than I think he was going to be already. And unfortunately, don't know if I'm going to really have time to get this done by 7 o'clock. And that's why, by the way, that's why I do these sometimes in the middle of the day. I'll do like a sample build, just for no other reason to get used to doing this fast. And I'm literally not going to have time to update. I mean, it takes me a while. I'm not going to be able to update my projections in time for 7 o'clock at this point. So what I'm going to probably do is I will rely, I guess, on my own projections for everything except for the Rockets. I'll use SaberSims for the Rockets, and I'm just not going to be able to use my own contest fields. It's just not going to work. Unless I can get everything done by then, which I won't be able to. I'm going to try. Like, as soon as I get off of you guys, which is going to be 5 minutes, and I'll try to do it one more time. But that's the thing. I just know how long it takes me, and it's just never going to happen. We're going to try, though. Let's just see what we get here. This is presuming we did not change any of the Rockets. And also, you can make the argument that if you're going to play more Rockets, then maybe the Mavericks are going to correlate a little bit better with your lineups. That is a whole other discussion. Whether runbacks are relevant in the NBA or not. They have to be, just because there's some 5% chance a game goes to overtime. So even for that, I mean, you all else being equal, you'd want a correlated lineup. But as I like to say, things are not almost ever actually equal. When I say all else being equal, that's one of the. There's always, when you say, "Oh, I need something to break the tie," it's almost never actually a tie. But if it's close, yeah, I would prefer the correlated lineup, and then we're just literally going to save this all for now. But this is all going to change. Okay, we'll do this. We'll upload. Don't forget the hockey. The hockey, Adam Perry and I were talking about hockey earlier today, and there's this one bit of news we're waiting on for this Toronto game. I have to see if that happened. And it's 6:38, so. And actually, that's 7:30. Oh, we got plenty of time for that. Oh, my God. I can't believe I'm thinking about the hockey yet. So for FanDuel, I mean, it's just kind of silly to do anything other than just at this point use the. Well, again, we can use we'll use my projections again for everything except for the Rockets. We won't use my contest fields. We'll go back to the Rockets, and then we will take out Jabari Smith. Where is he? Oh, he has a 0 in here. That's good, but we still have to change all the. Yeah, Tari Eason's getting a 6-point bump because of that, and I don't care about too much the ownership because again, we're just going to use their contest field. So we'll just build here. And then, so just so you know what my schedule is, this is going to be built in the next like 3 minutes, and then I'm going to say goodbye to you guys, and then I am going to attempt to redo all the projections before I have to eat, which is at 7. So, rebuilding projections, maybe putting lineups in, maybe getting the projections done. At the very least, I will find time to late swap after the 7:30 games start, maybe in time to account for this Rockets business. But I'll tell you, but Tari Eason is going to be a good play regardless of what we do. Well, so you want to take a look and see who we're getting in FanDuel? Probably like all the Lakers. That's going to be my prediction. And then a little bit of a variance, Chang. You'd appreciate this. I took a snapshot of a video that we did today and sent it over to Jordan. And I said, pick it up at this point. Maybe you can comment on some of the things we talked about. And one thing I forgot to do, or I don't know how to do, I guess, is I did not allow or have the setting for the chat to be visible like on replay. So I don't know. So you hear me like referring to things that you said without even actually seeing what you said. So what we're going to see if how good he is. If he could actually pick up on what we were talking about. Okay, just so you guys know, I might be in tomorrow. We'll see. I have to be someplace, but I think it's a place where I can pipe in. I'm actually going to be playing poker tomorrow, not during the day, but later. I'm actually be playing a WSOP online event with my friend who has 10 rings or 11 rings. He's got 11 rings. And that's not even his best game. Okay, so let's do this. Again, diversify. Save all. Tari Eason 24% now. We'll see what I actually get then. Oh, you want me to check the late? I'll check the Laker exposure. I promise you, it's going to be through the roof. But we'll look at it. Hold on. Here, Marcus Smart is back too, so he's probably going to look like a good play. So Connect, Laravia, Smart. They're also probably going to get waxed, but we'll take a quick look at the exposures there, and then I'm going to let you guys go. Hold on. Let's see. Exposures overall. Let's see. Yeah, look at all the Lakers. And there it is. All right, guys. Good luck, everybody.